What's up, Digidestins? This is Kyle D, better known as RideMyAvatar, and we should talk about a few things, shall we? Let's get into this. Digimon isn't dying. I'm going to explain this real and simple here. Digimon's not dying. And the reason for that is the game is still strong. Sale numbers are fantastic. You could look at that. But it is coming down to power creep is burning people out too much. And I get that, oh, we need to make it casual for the casual players, but we can't also not have too casual because the top players need it. Card games are designed to be competitive from the get-go. It is not designed with other card game ideology of, oh, we need a casual format. No. Card games are not designed with that ideology. They have never been designed that way. They are designed to up the power level every set to entice players to buy the next set. If the power level doesn't meet even close to it, they don't sell well. Again, we do have those fun sets. Don't get me wrong. We have the EX sets. Those are more casual oriented design. They are strong enough for you to get by, but it gives you more interesting interactions and different game mechanics. They are designed to be casual fun. They are not really tier breaking. They have occasional cards that do come in that can warp a format, but they are not designed to break the game. They are not designed to go higher than most games. So again, let's really break into the big three, shall we? First off, let's talk about Magic itself. For its alpha beta set, which is basically the same set for short, is that set introduced such a power creep in Magic that no other set has reached these levels of power. So the Power 9 to be exact, the example notable cards. The Power 9, which is Black Lotus, Mox Pearl, Mox Sapphire, Mox Jet, Mox Ruby, Max Emerald, Astral Recall, Time Walk, and Time Twister. These cards were overly powerful cards from the get-go. Their interaction speed, everything like that. No card in Magic actually meet the power level of the Power 9 ever since their printing or concept. And then you also had the introduction of dual lands. Tundra, Underground Sea, Badlands, Taiga, Savannah, Scrublands, Bayou, Tropical Islands, and Plateau. So, what does this all mean? Every card game prints broken cards, especially in the beginning, when they're still growing and developing. Magic took many years to form and create a realistic design in their game. They implemented mulligans. They took time. It wasn't like overnight that they designed it. Card games create broken cards all the time. Power level gets up there. What do? Do you take the Magic approach, which is most of the time they don't really ban anything in the standards? They really don't. They only produce these other cards when need be. They'll only make, the rotation or ban when they need to, and that's usually what happens, is that the ban list hits the cards that are really too broken in the set, and that was the last time really that they hit something crazily in standard was Oko, if I remember correctly. There's probably a few more further down the line, but Oko was like the biggest hit they had to get rid of in almost all formats. So something like that really paves the way to understand here. I mean, look at that. Power level of the Power 9 hasn't reached. We haven't had that. And, like the most expensive card in Magic is the Black Lotus. And that's add 3 mana of any color of your choice to your mana pool. Then it is discarded. Tap the artifact can be played as an interruption, which is basically tap, sacrifice Black Lotus, add 3 mana of any one color for 0 cost. Guys, we know that 0 cost is a bad thing. This is why when we got the restriction on the Mega Digimon Fusion was a learning lesson. You can't just do everything for free, which is understandable. So I mean, Magic made that decision and call. They also have, let's even look at the big boy, Yu-Gi-Oh! Yu-Gi-Oh! One of another top 3. They designed their game around ban lists. This is how they correct issues. I mean, Maxi's on here, but on JP, Maxi's different. I get that. I mean, Envoy of the End was on here for the longest time. Then you had like Envoy of the Beginning has always been like a one of for the longest time. Exodia, same thing. Was so powerful they had to restrict it to 1 copy each. You know, you have Cyberjar, Fiberjar on here. Like, they understand that some cards are just too powerful. So you have to restrict them and you have to make those calls. Yes, they allow them to live, breathe for a couple formats, and that's just kind of how that is. But right now, if you are going to go into Yu-Gi-Oh!, it's the most skillful format ever. But it's the most, you're playing mirror matches left and right. If Tier Elements is in that local shop, you're literally just going to be playing Tier Element to Tier Element mirror matches. Very skillful, really pays off, but it's not diverse like people are looking for. And I get that. And I mean, even looking at this now, I can find one card that just recently came off, and that was Yatagarasu. This card basically said, once you get to your opponent and you cleared everything, and you just kept hitting them. You just keep hitting them, and they couldn't draw. Once you got them in a Yata lock, you were done playing Yu-Gi-Oh! You literally just scooped and go to the next phase. There are just kind of things with card games that just do this, and I'm not even joking. Like, card games do this all the time. You either make rotations where you get to remove these broken cards that interact, like Pokemon and Magic, and maybe implement ban lists when needed, or Rada lists when needed, because I remember Pokemon Catcher more recently got a coin flip effect mid-format. You know, looking at it now, rotation-wise, now it's Sword and Shield, but now once X and Y come out, most of the Sword and Shield stuff kind of just disappear. So, stuff like that. I mean, Sun and Moon disappears very easily, which is what's going to fall off. Sword and Shield will be what stays, but Sun and Moon is going to fall off. And that's going to be huge. I mean, taking a look at this, like Black and White fell off because the Plasma Freeze is no longer valid. I mean, taking a look at card games as a whole, rotation or not, they need to have these implements to keep the game livable, surviving, going forwards. I don't see card games getting punished for not doing what they're supposed to. It's if Bandai let all the cards just be at full quantities, that their game would have failed. But it's not failing. It's they're listening to the player base. They're hearing the concerns. They're hearing JP's concerns. Do I think right now there's a problem? Yes. Is the problem fixable? Yes. Is it really coming down to being that the problem really comes down to, one, Death X being in the format, and not saying it's a bad card, it just limits the game design. You can't go wide board anymore, and now the only way you get around Death X is to play OTK decks, because now any deck that's designed to go wide, unless you can keep it past a certain point, they're just going to blow up your board and control it from there. It's a little bit of a teetering totter issue, and that is showing its hindsight. I mean, because Death X is a dead card in any matchup that's an OTK deck, because they're not producing anything existential that can be de-digivolved by Death X and you still win the game. Like, that is a huge factor in some competitive scenes. And that is something you got to think about and worry about. I mean, being able to take care of issues like that is very important. But I think even restricting Death X down to 1, yes, that helps in some capacity. But is it really? I mean, most decks just play it at 1 anyway, so if they see it, they see it. It's a very powerful boss Digimon, but restricting it down to 1 might not be the end-all be-all. But everybody's just playing 1 anyway. So it's like, does it really matter? You have so many things that you have to take in consideration, especially when you're doing game design and stuff like that. Is Digimon affordable is one of the other questions here. Yes, I mean, for the top deck right now, which is known as Metal Garurumon in this format, you are not breaking the bank. You are looking at $161, maybe $162. And that's just with 50 cards, and that's counting the Digitama. I've left 5 cards because 5 tech spots usually come and go for you. Whatever you want for those 5. It's going to be what you want for those 5. Blue memory boost, stuff like that, probably going to be in there. I mean, they're probably bringing it up to 180 max, but that's still affordable paired to a lot of other card games. And the thing is, blue memory boost is always usable for the next deck. Cool Boy is always going to be usable for the next deck. X Antibody is always going to be used for the next deck that you decide to go into. So there, and then like Davis, if you're sticking with blue, is always going to be viable. I mean, a lot of the sets are designed in a way to be like, okay, we can work with this. I mean, let's be honest, only a few card games that I know of have failed, and that is ARG's Poster Child, whatever that was. I mean, Force of Will is classified a dead game, but this really? I mean, yes, a lot of card games come and go, but Force of Will is still live. It still has competitive competitions. It's still on, like, what? So many sets? Elgin Origin. I mean, they rebooted the whole game to fix their issue where they failed. I mean, Echoes of the New World, it was really just like how they fixed everything. Because this is where I fell off, was the Van Gogh 2 Valkyrie Chronicles. So when I stopped playing, and look at it, from there, we're already higher up into formats, and they rebooted the game with a rotation and a reboot. So sometimes, yes, reboots can help, but right now, I understand a lot of people are worried because their locals attendance are coming down. That usually happens with One Piece or new card games in general coming into the fray. Most people want to try it out, and that's not bad. And here's the thing. Digimon is not everybody's cup of tea. It's not always going to be. So you're going to lose players left and right because just they're not having fun with it. They had fun in the beginning. But again, you have new card games left and right. One Piece, brand new card game. People are feeling like you can build any deck you want to an extent. Most of them are already solved because we're in JP's format. And there is no way in any capacity, by the way, we are going to reach any card game in the history of ever has never reached the same release schedule as JP. There are only very select few because that's what they're intended on. Most of them are a few sets behind, always. This is always how it is. Yu-Gi-Oh! Is always a few sets behind. Magic is the only one that I know of is concurrent with every location. And that's just because of how they print stuff. I mean, let's be honest, even when Duel Masters was dead here, JP's been living it up with Duel Masters the whole time. It's one of their best card games. They love Duel Masters. And it still has like 90 sets now. It's all coming down to perspective and keeping player base interested. I feel like even with our whole shebang, with all our restrictions and limitations, we have a decent amount of cards here. I mean, yes, would BT7 be classified in Jumping the Shark? I think so, because BT7 was the point where we had, Lord Nightmon format with Rookie Rush and Security Control. That was the big 3 in the family. Nightmarish format. Next format was a Rookie Rush strategy that just warped you into the Mega, and then basically you lost security, and you were just quickly blowing them up, trying to kill them fast. Okay. The Bonds decks were doing that. Then EX1 came out. Nothing too crazy out of it. You got Ice Wall, making blue more dominant. And this is where officially blue just became king of the ring for so many formats, because blue is just powerful. Because blue was just waiting for broken cards that they didn't really need. But that just comes with the territory with Bandai. they favor yellow and blue all the time. That is just kind of their go-to colors. Right now, it looks like Bandai switched from that formula. Now it's just straight red and black now are just being constantly loved. So I feel like that's just a big flip there. I mean, looking at it, Jet Sylphie, Tommy, Duro Greymon, and Eismon were all hit from BT7, meaning BT7 was really strong for its time. Introducing the hybrid mechanic, and that became a less interactive format, and that really hurt. And then BT8 started the OTK, where we did have Black War Greymon-ish to try to be in mid-range, but it just couldn't do much there. That's just kind of how that went. And then you had a bunch of other stuff coming in to the fray there. I think a lot of it comes down to is, the truth be honest, I think players are just burnt out. And here's some solutions, my take on what you guys should do to alleviate that burnout. You want to hear it? 1, pick up a sidecar game. Something that you're not overly going to invest in. Still pick up the Digimon cards little by little. Things that you want to maybe play, put it off to the side. Just do that. I mean, looking at that, that's huge. Being able to play a sidecar game is exactly what you need. Just so when the format is just not breathing that fresh air that you want, take the break, go play still. You'll still have players still wanting to play. Will it break banks? No, because you're not going to invest hundreds of thousands of dollars into this game. You're still focusing on your main set, but you just pick a deck, upgrade it in that card game, slowly play it for funsies, play it for how you want, and just think it that way through. And again, right now, what's also big on people's players' mind is Pokemon VGC's biggest, newest competitive format is out. A lot of card game players are Pokemon VGC players. So for now, they're focusing on that. They're focusing on meta climbs, they're focused on building teams and stuff like that. So they're trying to get ready for their worlds and stuff like that. That happens next year, but they have competitive seasons, so they have to take some time to figure this out. So stuff like that does kind of make it look like attendance is lower, but that's just because people are prioritizing things to figure out what works, what doesn't, and that just kind of comes with the territory of games like this. People play multiple things. They don't just play one and done. So I think what people need to start taking from this is that we need to just realize burnout is real. People are just being burnt out because both ends have been lit at the same time, and they're just tired. I mean, even taking in the account that we have the most luck-based design, go play Cardfight Vanguard for a week and then tell me who has more luck-based design. Okay? I came from that game, and I can honestly tell you, and a lot of players have come from, Digimon is nowhere near the same level. Yes, it is annoying when a Gaia Force kind of card ruins your day. Yes, that just comes with the territory. That's just what you're expecting, what's going to happen. I don't expect anything else from that, but that's just how that's going to be. I mean, there are plenty of other avenues and other options, and I feel like a lot of players just don't see that possibility. And it's just, I feel bad for you. That just, it's tough, and you're going to take some time to realize what you need to do. I feel like if you give it time, things fix. But again, let's even take this for a fact. Stop trying to make Digimon another person's card game. We are not Magic. We are not Pokemon. We are not Yu-Gi-Oh! We are not any of those three. And people are just like, we need to take down the big three. Stop. We're not taking down the big three. The big three have been the big three for the longest time. We can be the top 6. Be happy for that. Do not think Digimon's going to break that. Nobody has been able to touch them for that long for a reason. Those card games are cemented in stone. They are not coming down. We're not taking down the big three. That's not physically possible. So again, stop trying to do that. I mean, we're just all in this together. We need to stop thinking like the card game's dead. it's not. This card game is far from it. And we have so much possibilities. We have so many avenues. And we need to stop thinking about the card game as a casual identity. It is not casual. It is designed to be competitive. All the cards are designed for competitive with some casual splash to get you guys by. Outside of that, you're not looking too deep here. Yes, is the OTK format really a problem? Yes, we are in a format that just makes it tough. And we'll have to respect that. But again, card games do not think about weird, janky formats at first. Commander took many years before it got actual support and focus and hyper focus on it, because that's what really drives major events. Stop that. Commander only events do not drive major competitive scenes. It is the main set, modern, the main standard sets, really pushing those. And yes, we get like 4 sets a year out of Magic that are main set focused, and then you get sprinkled in stuff that you get to pick and choose from. I get that. That's a huge thing. But we're not the same bloody game as any of the other ones. We are our own entity, and we need to stop trying to become other card games and trying to push this ideology. It's not healthy. It's detrimental to the newcomers, because all you guys are doing is complaining, so you're instantly now a new player is going to come in and go like, oh, okay, I'm just not going to play the game, because your complaining is what's pushing them to be deterred. That's huge. Again, your mindset affects the player base. You can't do that. You can't just be going like, well, it needs to be like this. Well, nobody's coming in for that vest. That's not how we're going to get by here. So, stuff like that needs to go out the window. So, when we get closer to the new year, guys, put all your negativities out the window and just come in with a fresh beat. Come just relax, spend time with your family, spend time with everybody else for now. And guys, hopefully this was a very insightful video, and hopefully you guys enjoy it. Hopefully you guys stay safe, stay healthy, and I'll catch you in the next one. Peace.